Hello. Welcome back to another live trading session, traders. Hope that you had an enjoyable weekend and enjoyable holiday. And happy start to all of the members and subscribers starting another trading week. That's great. And welcome to this live trading session here. And hello, welcome. So there are some daylight savings timing changes, and I believe you guys were there. And this is our new timing due to the daylight saving changes. So probably it might just delay it in your time zone depending on where you are. Good day. Is the live session going to now be at yes, this is the new timing. As the daylight changes in my zone, actually it's the same time as we do every week, every day, but probably in your time zone might have changed slightly because of the timing changes. But this is only the timing that I can begin with. So in my zone, is the same time, but probably in your zone has changes because of the changes in the daylight saving. So now we are I'm progressing towards the trading, and I hope that you guys are ready for another big week. And I see some trading opportunity here along the way coming here. And if you look at the session wise, that I would like to also the session, because the timing changes, so session timing as well probably has changes here. And I'm looking at the timing. So if you look at here, we are so New York session opened, and there is some volume that we can see with the session opening. Thank you. All right, so looking at here, beginning with some music to play out. The market is, if you look at here, I'm looking at the technical perspective on gold. We see that there is a downtrending market structure, and that might create a bearish move here. As if you look at as the session open coming, which is session volume is important to look at. If you look at here, so and also I'm looking at the calendar, which is coming up in just later today. We'll be seeing that ISM service PMI, which is and also we will be looking at the speech coming from President Trump. So that might be getting later today. The market is preparing for this move potentially. And here I'm looking at, if you look at the lower time frame market structure, as the session volume coming, when we're on live session again, sir. So yeah, if you guys look at the London session live, we can do that too. I used to do the twice. Later we dropped it. So this is the same live that we do, but just the daylight timing changes. And here I'm looking at some of the move. So here we are looking at both London session as well as the NY session opening, which is the most volatile, most liquid session, and we want to trade on these kind of sessions. Thank you. Awesome. Here is what you can see, the lower time frame market structure. There is a breakup structure. You can say after this two liquidity sweep, this is a strong liquidity gap here that you can see on gold and the market on this fair value gap. All right. So I want to look for an entry here now at the moment in that area. We'll be looking for an entry, as also we'll be going to the analysis. But what you can see here, with this current market structure, there is a breakup structure here, and that breakup structure might bringing that market back below here to this support level that you can see here in that market. And this is if you look at from this level, okay, from this zone here, which is a complete single move back below, and that complete single move is here that we are looking at for with this market structure. The market structure showing that there is a potential for downward move as with the session's opening. The session opening is important because this is where you will be able to see that how the market is creating its structure. And there is a potential for downside here, and you can see that. Looking forward to see some pullback, and with this pullback we will be looking for okay, so there is a break below. There is a break below, guys, and we can see that here, and that break below could bring that market further downside here. And it looks like this was a false breakout, and that false breakout might be bringing that market below to this support level here. And there is a significant, if you look at here, it's almost nearly to 200 pip, nearly to 200 pip fair value gap here. And I'm looking at for an entry this session here. This is a technical, and if you look at earlier that we have seen, there was a fundamental, there was a significant move that we have seen earlier today here in this market. And So this is from the technical. If you look at the fundamental here that you can see in this area, right? And with the sentiment get quite a few high impact news that you have seen earlier. Senior Indian official, Tehran will not reopen exchange for temporary ceasefire. Iran mediator strike. Okay, so there's a couple of news that you can see, and that might be now a potential reason for significant move that you can see in the market. But you can see that if you look at WTI again trying to push back, DXY is trying to push back. Gold, you can see there is a still it's maintaining the downtrend on gold. From the bigger picture perspective, here if you look at, this is bearish engulfer, and with this bearish engulfer the market has created that downside momentum in this area on XAUUSD. Now with this downside momentum, there is a 5 minutes bearish engulfer which is showing that there is a potential for downward move here in that market, and there is a significant drop creating series of lower high and lower low, which is in a downtrend, and here is key support area, and that support area might be testing as a resistance, and this is where you want to look at an entry opportunity here in this market. We see that there is from this high here, after creating a new higher high, there is a drop, and that drop has fall down back below to this support in this market. And the lower time frame price action that you can see, the market structure could be still showing downward price action. That means the trend still may continue here back below. Look at the 5 minutes. This is a narrow doji. So I'm looking at for an entry along the direction of the trend. But you want to see that a little bearish drop. There is a 1 hour 20 MA. Now we are directionally, we are bearish in that area. And with this bearish move directionally, we are looking for that bearish pressure, price action confirmation, and then we will be looking at an entry here in this market. There is a significant downtrending market structure. 15 minutes high is here. And I'm looking at along the way for an entry. Once we can see the market structure has shown that confirmation here in that market. Welcome to this live session here, traders. We are looking at for an entry in this market for this downtrend, and in the downtrend expecting an entry on a pullback. And due to daylight savings, the time might be different in your zone. So this is the new timing, and we'll be focusing on trading the high quality setup, because with the higher volume we will be able to see high probability trade along the way. So from this high after creating a new higher high, there is and even a complete bearish drop here that you can see, and that bearish price action could bring the market below here to create a new lower low in this market. And this is a 1 minute trend that you can see there was a false breakout multiple times. After creating few times false breakout, the market trend showing that it is still maintaining this bearish move in this market. We'll be looking at the 30 minutes close as well, and I think before the 30 minutes close, if the market goes up for a pullback, we will be able to see further bearish drop here in that market. This is a falling market now at the moment. If you look at the daily price action, ultimately from this daily high, this is the daily high, and the price has strongly rejected from this daily high. That means it is now highly likely the price may eventually come back below to this daily low and could retest this daily low here to create a new lower low in this market. As I'm looking at for a downtrend, and here is the 15 minutes price action and also the 5 minutes move, which is significantly downtrend. And we'll be looking for an entry if this price action go back again for another retest of this high. And in the meantime, traders, if you're enjoying the live session, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done yet, press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every day. There is a crossover of 10 and 20 EMA. And that crossover is now creating a downtrending pressure here in that area. Looking for a break of structure. It will come back. It will come back. Will it come back up? This is what we are waiting. We want to see the decent pullback, but I'm looking at this 15 minutes candle close, and this candle close might create a new opportunity. The chances for it to come back to 4650 is higher, right? So I'm looking at for this move back below. This is a fair value gap. It is likely we could see here 4645. Now along the way, what we need a break of structure, and I'm looking at the 1 minute chart. And as soon as we can find that break of structure, we see some upside bias happening, and we will be looking at that sell along the way. Breakup structure is very important to look at, and once we see the market has shown that breakup structure, we will be looking at sell here in that area. Okay, this move is important to see that it's going up for enough pullback. And once we see the market has done enough pullback, here we can look at that entry, though it may continue to drop here back below. Going up can create a new trading opportunity. Any news coming in 10:30 today in my zone? If you look at here, as the daylight changes, I was planning for a London session live to begin so that we can trade both sessions separately. But I would like to see how many members here want to join that back. Say yes if you want to join that. We can begin our London session live that we did almost every year, except in 2026 we didn't do it. But there is a change of daylight savings, so we can trade now separately. Okay, so we will be beginning shortly our London session live as well for a short period of time. Okay, awesome, thank you. Yes, both session, yep, we will be looking at. All right, so let's begin straight away. From tomorrow we will be trading separately, because I trade on my desk but I just don't go live. But now I will be going live and we'll be trading both sessions separately, pre-London session open and also pre-NY open. So both of the session will be trading separately to take the full benefit from it, full understanding of the market, so that we can trade it properly. That will be awesome. So I'll be scheduling the session shortly today, and we will be you guys will be able to find the new session. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And this session will be starting pre-London session opening. So you can note down that pre-London session. So just before the London session open, you'll be able to see this session that running out. And here I'm looking at, with this session here, guys, the market is now in a trend and you want to take this move. Here you can see the market lower time frame. There is a trend and the potential for the market to remain downside here. So there is a bearish price action being potentially be created here in that area. So you see some pullback here and see how far it is potentially be heading. I'm waiting for a breakup structure, and looking at the intraday, here the market has made a significant movement, and looking for a potential break below here of this zone. If you look at the lower time frame, you might see that some pullback here. So we might be able to look for an entry along the way, and there is a 20 EMA crossover. Okay, here we'll be looking for sell as there is a breakup structure, and I'm looking at a possible sell opportunity in this area here. So we'll be looking for sell from this zone with a little wider, a bit of wider stop loss with in that zone with around 80 to 85 pip stop loss, and looking for a potential break below in the direction of that major trend. Give a little wider stop loss in this area, and there is a, if you look at from here, there is a complete breakup structure, and of that breakup structure I'm looking at sell in that area. So here's the sell and L zone, and let's see that how the market react to that level, and I think there is a higher chance for the price to retest again this low. And I'm also sharing the same trade in the group. just reach that 1 hour resistance line, and this is also the daily resistance line. Still manage to make that move. So you're on the trade here and looking to see that potential rejection of this key level. That expecting it to become potentially a false breakout here, as if you look at, there is already the market has done few times false breakout in that area. So with the sell position that you open, if the buyer's not getting strong enough, we could see that rejection back again coming to this support level. So there's a pin bar on the entry, and we want to see that initial break below. So if we see the price is coming to that support level, which nearly to 100 pip move could be an ideal move that we can expect it to take in that direction here in this market. There is a bearish pin bar, and I'm looking at traders for this move back to this below this support. And if we see the market has successfully dropped to that level, we can look for nearly to 100 pip bearish rejection here. With a long wick candle, there is a 15 minutes candle close coming, And as there was a significant downtrend, looking to see how the market is evolving here, and there is a higher chance for this price to revert in the direction of this trend here. We'll see that where it is heading. We'll be also restarting our London session live as well, which will be just pre-London session opening. So don't miss out that. Join by subscribing to the channel. Make sure you press the notification bell so that as soon as I'm coming on live, you guys can see me. Yep, we are on a sell trade. Yes, we are on a sell trade running in, and looking forward to see this possible downtrend continuation back below here. If you look at the 4-hour and the daily, so the daily market, if you look at here, this is we have seen that previously there was a drop, and this drop, it's in a downtrend. So my bias here is downside. We can see some kind of pullback here, and off that pullback, they're expecting it to revert back again in the direction of the major trend. Unless there is any unusual breaking news. Because of the 5 minutes chart, creating a long doji. All right, so few times false breakout here. So looking at also the higher time frame. Now this 5 minutes candlestick pattern also important to see that it's getting as a bearish engulfer. If we see it's getting as a bearish engulfer, this trend potentially to continue, and that might be bringing that price here. So there's a 4-hour drop that you have seen. The market has almost bounced back to the 4-hour resistance line, and I think there might be, if you look at the daily level, that I'm looking at the daily price action, which eventually from the daily it's bearish. So looking to see that how the market is creating the structure here. We had a very tight stop loss here, and with this type of stop loss, if the market managed to create it as a false breakout, we might see that continuation down back below to the support level. So quite a few 5 minutes candlestick pattern has formed. Now you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes candlestick pattern, which has pulled back to the upside. Now we can expect a trend continuation pattern formation here with another new lower low. So we are looking at here in that zone to see how the market plays out here. I'm still running in. We are on the trade. Your long-term trend continuation is expected. Back to back, quite a few rejection of this level, and we might see here with a doji. Now this is a, if you look at here, it was falling market, and I'm looking at guys in that falling market for possible trend continuation, which is we might see that downside here. Okay, so the market is broken out of the structure, and with that break, looking at the 15 minutes and the 5 minutes here, the chances for the price to retest this support, this is what I'm looking at, guys, here, and we are on profit zone now. We will be running this, and I would like to see that potentially to drop here back below to this previous zone where there is a doji, and once the market successfully drop to that, we'll be able to, in that level, we might take profit as the market has gone up initially. So the market structure is showing still there is a higher chance for further bearish move in that area. Once again, it's getting hungry for liquidity grab. Building this 1 hour doji, and okay, if the market, if you look at here, it's remaining in that area, which is quite a few long week candlestick pattern being formed, that price might try to break below, because the imbalance is creating in that direction. So still chances for another coming to create a new lower low. I'm looking forward to see that head and shoulder, and then to come down. Cool. So there is a head and shoulder, and so there is a again there is an imbalance here. So if we successfully can take this move to nearly to 90 pip to 100 pip is our target. Though we have a profit target here, it might just drop, straight, come back down to drop. If it drop directly, we will be directly hitting the profit target, or if it struggle to drop, then we can take at nearly to 90 to 100 pip move in that area. And there is a 1 hour candle close coming in 1 minute. This is if you look at a bearish price action, and we saw that from this high here, significant downtrend. 4 hour price action as well, showing that there was a liquidity sweep possible for further downside here. One minute too. So the imbalance here is in this direction. So I'm looking to see the market is eventually breaking that low back below. So 1 hour candle close with a long doji. I can't see the chart here. It's a little bit of change in the market sentiment. Okay, so there is a break here on this lower time frame. There's a head and shoulder, and I've just changed the chart because the other one is not playing out properly. We can see that there is a so far in that area bearish market structure. From the 1 hour, there you can see a doji has formed. Looking at our entry, So there is a, if you look at here in this area, the market is trying to push back here with a pullback. But I think if you look at here, quite a few long week candlestick pattern being formed, and the price action may, but I think that we could see that rejection, and that's where you can see the market form a head and shoulder, slowly trying to break below in the direction of the trend. So we are running some significant profit here in that area. So anytime that I will be closing the trade, I will let you know, guys, that I'm closing, but I'm still running in. So this is a down, so that's a massive break below, and that's a massive break below. I'm taking profit now, traders. I'm closing it with profit. Take profit now. So we have successfully secured that one here as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so we successfully closed, and thank you very much. Yes, this is massive one. This is a massive one, guys. I would like to see how many. I got here 90, nearly to 100 pip. How many pip have we got here? Thank you. Okay, so I got 94 pip. Awesome. Thank you. Just been closed in profit. Now we want to celebrate more, right? More times, more trading, more learning. So for that purpose, 55 pip, thank you very much. It depends, sometime might be entry delayed, but that's fine as long as we have that pip. Tomorrow onwards, I will be coming on live twice as I trade during the London session, guys. We used to trade twice, but just because of this summer season here, I had to take some time off, and now back both sessions trading live. I was still trading on the desk, but now coming on tomorrow onwards, we will be trading on live twice. So make sure you present in the first live. You double up your learning, double up your earning, and double up your growth as a trader. How have you been? Thank you very much, Tony. I'm good. Thank you for joining. Some of my members here, we are from very early, right? 2020, 2021, 2022. That's what you guys are here, and thank you. And I really appreciate all of you here trading together, learning, growing as a trader. Thanks for your support to the channel. And let's trade with high possibility, high probability. Next move, yeah, we are just progressing for the next one. So I've just been scheduled for the London session live, though we will be trading here for this live here. So I've shared in the chat group, in the chat option. You guys can just stay connected for that long session live, and also this NY session live in the same time will be on. Now next move, right? We want to take the next move here, again in this market, right? We want to trade the next move, and to trade the next move, let's revise our analysis, and also we will be looking at here in this zone that to see where the market is heading. So first of all, I would like to see that current fundamental. Thank you very much. And I would like to see the current fundamental here. What is happening? We see that quite a few high impact news, and sentiment analysis is one of the most important part that missing from many traders trading plan, right? Because the market, if you look at earlier during the London session time, I was trading and suddenly there's a market flight back to the upside on gold, and I was thinking why that sudden move happened, right? Why the market has gone up. And then I saw some breaking news here, and I think that one here, if you guys look at, so I think that news is not here at the moment. So there was some kind of optimism. So the news, basically the main content of the news is optimism. So understanding when the traders are optimistic or understanding when traders are pessimistic. These are two key factors that you need to look at traders. Because when you understand that when traders are optimistic, which way the market will be heading, when traders are pessimistic, which way the market will be heading. And that's the basis of the fundamental analysis. You see the interest rate decision and the central bank's decision, these are the long-term move in the market. So you might see the monthly, weekly trend based on the interest rate decision, rate cut or rate hike. But day-to-day spikes, news spikes is not based on the interest rate decision, rate cut or rate hike. This is mainly because of the current high impact news. So it's important that you understand the factors, you understand where, because anything you are trading, even I would say that even if you're not trading, but in day-to-day life, you need that, right? You need to understand that why things happen and which way you should be trading, right? Even if you go to the petrol station for buying petrol, still the same thing. For a sandwich, same thing, because everything is correlated. So that's why it is important that you understand the sentiment analysis and how to do that, right? So the current here, I will go with the yellow folder, the orange folder, and then we'll go to the yellow, because the higher the color, the more important. So here we can see one senior Iranian official. Tehran will not reopen Strait of Hormuz in exchange for a temporary ceasefire. Okay, so this is, I think, a response regarding there was an ultimatum, maybe, yeah, which is, I think, ending today, probably tomorrow is coming up, and it said that as long as I remember, if the Strait of Hormuz is not open, then there will be some kind of attack or escalation. So in response to that, so Iranian official says Tehran will not open a Strait of Hormuz in exchange for a temporary ceasefire. So that means this news, how it's gonna impact the market. Let's straight away you understand it. Okay, so if the Strait of Hormuz is not open, this is kind of reasoning that you can when you reason, it becomes easy to digest and understand it very easily. Okay, reasoning starts with asking question. So if the Strait of Hormuz is not open, then what will happen? Like that, it's like a childlike question. The first thing will happen is oil price will go skyrocket, right? So oil price is going up, and if the oil price is going up, now in this war, every war there's a dynamics with the price action with the metal and oil, energies and metal, right? So if the Strait of Hormuz is not open, then potentially oil is going to go up and gold potentially remain downside, or at least for sideways in a situation. So this is what one very easy interpretation of that. So we saw that, and that news, if you look at when it came out 5 hours ago, how did the market has reacted to that? And you can see that if you look at the price action, we can see that this 4-hour candle, you see it's upside here on WTI, right? You can see that if you look at the past few hours candle, especially the past 4 hours, it's upside. You see that straight. Very simple, guys. It's not complicated, but once you understand it, you can catch every move, how it happens, especially in terms of the sentiment. Not exactly in trading, everything is probability, but you have a better understanding, sense of the market movement. And if you look at, there was a sudden breakout in London session on gold upside, right? That has came out from another breaking news that I have seen is about I think some kind of mediation, because that news brings optimism. Okay, so optimism usually in this context of this war, gold is becoming bullish on optimism. Usually gold is bearish on optimism, gold is bullish in pessimism. The reason this time is different is because of the energy. Okay, because in this war the primary concern is energy, and that's why the metal is usually not always, opposite direction of WTI. So when WTI is going up, XAUUSD has no choice but to drop because DXY is going up. Okay, so DXY is going up. So when dollar getting expensive, even if the gold is getting, XAUUSD is getting bearish as they mirror each other, right? So that being said, if we look at here, we can see that WTI is showing that, reflecting in that direction. So that means if you see that potentially from the monthly, we can see that from technical perspective, WTI is bullish, and it might, I think, if I give a personal opinion, I don't think that gold will be bearish. If you look at this one here, okay, the Russia-Ukraine war, remember, we were trading live. Some of you here, I remember, you were there, right? I think many of you, I can see those names, all of them were here during the Russia-Ukraine war. We traded here, right? This high and also this low during the pandemic. During the pandemic, this low, and this the war, this high. So that's a massive low to the high move. So one single move, pandemic brought that market down back below here to the lowest. It gone to the negative, if you remember. And then from that, the market has gone back to the high here, to this all-time high. Now, if you look at the current cycle in the market is in that. Usually this high that you can see during the Russia-Ukraine war was a reference line for all-time high of $126. And as with the current move in the market on WTI, there's a chance for going to extreme. That means a chance for a new all-time high. However, let's look at something very different. Okay, which is I'm not saying gonna happen, no, neither predicting, but is this possible to create a new negative directional bias? It's not gonna, potentially not gonna happen, because demand has to drop very, very negatively, but which is because the bias here is to the upside. So the chances here, the possible move on WTI is to go back again to a new all-time high, which is high probability, because trading is all about probability. You know, I saw that one physicist was saying that what is the probability that tomorrow you wake up in moon, right, or in the Mars? There is a slight probability is there still. Okay, everything has a probability. So the question is, which probability you are at? Okay. Now, you know how to be in that probability. Everything is, most of the things that very complex is calculated based on probability. Whether market, you know, like the future is probability. So how can you be in that probability? Is by looking at the pattern. Okay, pattern will tell you a lot of things. So if you look at the pattern here, that is what you can see. So look at the pattern, all right? This high, there's a war, and then there's a move and created this all-time high. We can see the same pattern, gap, war, move, and possible to create a new all-time high. However, at the moment we are looking at the market structure in this area, which is showing that the price action to be here in that area, remaining upside, remaining bullish. Now let's look at what is our next trade that you can look at in this zone here. In the meantime, traders, if you haven't liked this stream, make sure you do so, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Now let's look at going back to moon, right? Going back to the chart. Thank you. Chance of waking up on the moon tomorrow is 0. Now, according to physics, it's not 0. There is a slight chance of it. Okay. You know how you can calculate that slight chance of it? Let me tell you. If you look at, are you statics or dynamic? We all are dynamic, right? The universe is constantly expanding. Even the earth itself is rotating in 2 axes, right? So if you look at the earth, it is rotating on its own axis, and also it is rotating in an elliptical form, right? So it's rotating itself, and also it's rotating along the direction, and also it tilts. It's not a like in a three-dimensional rotation, right? One is circulating, it's rotating in its own axis, it's rotating along the orbit, and also it doesn't, well, I would say that it's a bouncy, right? It's not remaining on the on one level. It changes. You see the change in season. So that it's an elliptical right then. So if you look at that probability, because it's moving, because it's not a like it's not in a statics. Come on. It's not a static, right? It's dynamic. And if you look at the Mars, is way bigger than the Earth. Therefore, its motion and your motion is different. So if you look at the relative motion, it's not same. So if you are on a bus that, let's say you are in this bus and there's another bus here, okay? Now if you are going with 50 kilometer per hour and this bus is going with 40 kilometer per hour, so you have a difference in speed or the velocity. So there is at some point there is a chance that you're gonna collide into that bus at some point if you look at the whole infinite data. So that is why there is a probability that at some point it might happen that the Earth is going to collide at the Mars. More importantly, very simply, this is the sun, right? So in one day, everything will be colliding into the sun because all those Earth and Mars, they are imitating their energy, right? So in getting closer and closer and closer, and the sun will get darker and darker and darker, and then it's gonna become a black hole and everything will be in it. So therefore, at some point, everything's going there, right? So that is also another probability that one day you're gonna wake up in the Mars. Just calculating it. Okay, now let's look at where you can find the entry before we go to the wake up in the Mars. Okay, here is what you can see that with this drop here, it's now pushing again back above. We are out with the trade. I'm looking at another one entry. Here it gets ready for another entry. Here is just we begin our session. We have still long way to go. Let's have some music and then we will be looking at it's just Monday, not Friday, but have some loud music and then we'll be. Keeping its motion downside here. Okay, so we are looking at here, and that moving with that movement, we are looking at this price action here with a long wick candlestick pattern. We'll be looking for further entry opportunity here now in this area. Series of lower high formation in this area from the 1 hour, which is showing that the trend is still bearish. And from the 4 hour perspective here, if you guys look at it, we can see there is a few times the market has crossed over from 10 and 20 exponential moving averages in that area that you can see. And this 10 and 20 exponential moving averages crossover, there is also that the market has tested both of these EMS and showing up that this market trend to remain potentially we could see in a downtrend, and it's getting multiple false breakout, and the price action now showing that there is a higher chance for a drop. We can look for another entry along the way as the market structure is conducive, that I would say, for possible move. Here two green candles here, they both failed to create a higher high, therefore we may see that the market to remain here in that zone to the downside. So with few more long wick rejection in that area, the market is showing that there is a higher chance for downward. We have taken our first position in this live session, successfully closed, and I'm looking at for more entry. And let me know, guys, you're ready for an entry here. Once we see the pricing confirmation, we can look at that entry here in that area. And we can see slowly it's trying to build here momentum back to the upside. However, from this high here, we saw the drop, and then there is a, we can see there is a pullback to the upside here in that area. News in 20 minutes. Okay, thanks for reminding. Yes, I think there's yeah, so it's ISM service PMI, and then after 3 hours there will be speech from President Trump, and which is another big market mover coming. And that, because tomorrow there's a deadline, and there might be there might be increased volatility on all of that, including gold. And if you look at WTI, which we started to see that again breaking back to the upside of this support. And how does the DXY is DXY also start to potentially to pick up? And USDJPY, if we look at from this support also moving, and therefore we can look for a few more entries along this way. And I'm looking at for this the market to give us an entry, as there is a data coming in just 20 minutes, and then 3 hours time there will be President Trump's speech. Therefore, let's see that due to hold a press conference about the Iran conflict at the White House. Okay, so this is a very vitally important conference, because it's about the Iran conflict. Okay, and there is a deadline tomorrow, and so the market might have a wild move. So we'll be opening few position, not during that. Guys, this is another important. Don't trade during this kind of news, okay? Because there might be a very unusual move, and that you may not be able to predict that movement, but wait for that to happen and then to give you, because usually after this kind of news, the market becomes highly profitable to trade. These are some of the very secretive information that will change the way you look at the market. Let me tell you why this become so profitable after that kind of is, because you see there is always, remember, in the market there is a the price move in an intrinsic. So anything that you will be trading, any asset or instrument has its own intrinsic value, right? So if you look at, any instrument has its own intrinsic value. The market more often trade on an overbought or oversold, or at least deviated from that intrinsic value. And when there is this kind of news comes, it usually goes from that intrinsic value to in both direction many times, and therefore the market becomes highly liquid, highly volatile. Another reason is because many smart money traders wait to place their order, which is the main reason for those speech, because that will give them a direction which way things will be heading. And therefore, after the speech, the market goes in a predictable trend. In addition to that, also, if you look at sometime, traders buy or sell with unpredictable way, right? Because of the market is dominated or governed by fear and greed. These are the two emotions also act during that. So because of that, we will be looking at first of all, with the upcoming ISM service PMI, we'll be looking at that one to see how the data is coming, and afterwards we will be waiting for that speech, and then we can look for further entry during the NY session. I will be also, if I am not on live during that time, we will be trading live this data in just a few minutes. But if I'm not on live, we will be also looking at I'll be posting every details, all the trades in the premium group. as usual. Okay, so also I would like to post a poll here to see that most of the members, what you are thinking on that with the upcoming ISM service PMI. What is your bias? Do you think we'll be looking in terms of gold? Do you think gold is going to drop here back below to support 4645, or you think the market is going to go ahead and create a new higher high? So I have shared a poll here that you guys can see that poll, and you see that in 95% of the time, interestingly, the poll results came out to be correct. So it's very important to look at, especially for this market condition, for buying and selling in that situation. Not all cases. Thank you. And here is what we are looking at of this. Sir, stay still after the news. Yes, we will be trading that. And I would like to look at here on ISM service PMI. Okay. Which is the forecast was 54.88, right? That was the whole forecast. And let's see that how the actual comes, which is the first news for today. And that might be creating a pretty interesting move here. With few long week candlestick pattern, we can see after creating this new higher high, the market is slowly trying to break that support, and that could lead that market back below, and that might be, we could see the price action to break that low and then to continue to drop back down here. I'm looking at here in that area to see. And Okay, here's the move, and you can see the market has, as the news coming, we can see from this top here, the market has created this long wick rejection, and we might see that the market structure potentially to fill that zone in that area. So you see some votes here for the poll. Make sure you guys cast a vote here, and that is crucial. Okay, so with this break below here, the market in this zone, which is on this support, we have only 10 minutes to go for the news to come up. With a double top here, and looking forward to see the market from this support has gone back here above to this key level, and off that key level they're expecting the market to respect that and that revert again back down here. Now with this next 7 minutes before the data is important to see, but you could see the spike up and again eventual drop back below. If that is happening, you want to see that the market is giving us another entry potentially to see that drop down to this support here. So getting ready for that this move. We have 2 minutes to go for the data to come up, and here I'm looking at for a possible entry once the data has come up and we are ready for the move. Thank you. And we see that quite a few votes here. That's awesome. We can see that 53% here still showing drop, and I think there is a possibility for a drop here. The long week candlestick pattern here, this is a pretty stronger breakout, and they're expecting the market to respect that high and possibly to spike back. Looking at, see that what is coming. Okay, so which is 54. So which ISM service, I think this is not a very level of diffusion index based on surveyed purchasing managers excluding the manufacturing industry. Okay, so we can see that on DXY some bearish move of this doji, and how does the gold has reacted to that? So you can see that there is an initial upside bias on gold, and that initial upside bias, if you look at off this support from this, it has got rejected back above, and now how does that, if we look at that overall trade direction that you will be looking at, right? Because from this support, okay, so if you look at this is a and that's outside, this is a key support, and you can see that few times the market got rejected of this key support, and with this rejection of this key support level, the market has broken back to the upside. Now if this is a complete rejection, we could see the price straight drop to this daily low, which is here, because the market is on this open and close. Usually if you look at, this is another very important point, I will also create a separate video on that one. If you look at when the market come to this kind of support where the market open and closed, it usually goes a lot up and down, so it moves in an extended sideway before finally breaks out and go in one direction. got a rejection here of this. With a long wick, it entirely has rejected of this level, which could be that the market to coming here back below to this support. So there is a false breakout that you can see. Now for us to be able to look for an entry, because the market has created the false breakout, we are looking at here now for this trend continuation. Look at the multiple time frame analysis always to see that bigger picture, because when you see that bigger picture, it becomes easy to look at the smaller picture, smaller details, how it is working. Downside move here. And this is a that you can see is significantly showing that there is a possible for a break below. The market structure is still in a downtrend. Now with this pullback, we may be able to find if it shows stronger rejection for a potential sell. And that's where we can see that so I'm looking at here with the stronger breakdown. If you look at, there is a very sharp rejection of this level. Now, because there has been rejection of this from here, drop, another pullback, and you can see that it is potentially for another trend down. Now, here's dynamic support that you can look at. Okay, so with this dynamic support that it has created in this area, with this support level, the market, if you look at here, tested this as a resistance, initial rejection. Now if the market goes again and hit that level, and then return again back below. That is where we want to look for a possible sell opportunity in this area. So with another long wick candlestick pattern, they're expecting the market to respect and then to see if it is getting the rejection back again below in the major direction of the trend. So the crossover of this resistance line and getting now reaction of this with a second retest from the 1 hour. It's a bear market. From the 15 minutes candle close, and we can see that there is a long wick price action. Here we will be placing a pending order for this potential drop down here back below, and if the market comes down to fill that long wick, we are on this trade. And here we are looking at in this zone for a sell stop order below this level. If the market breaks low of this level, we are looking for entry, and we will be targeting to this support not longer, because there is a chance for the market again to bounce off as this support has been penetrated few more times. However, if the market is going up, there will not be entering, because it was showing that there is a bearish bias. Only in that case we will be looking at here, we'll be placing this sell stop order. As you can see, the market is showing that upside bias, and as we looked at that the previous session, now so we can see that of this support, it has got rejected back upside, and now it's moving in that direction here. It's moving to the to this previous key level again, going back to the previous key level. And because the market is getting rejection again, which is going again against the trend, and it is good idea is to wait for that the market to show up again for another move. It is always a good idea to trade with the trend, and that's what the patience come in trading. And I always look at, guys, being patient as a trader, and we do have quite a few trades opened every single day in this live session trade as well. We have successfully closed a profitable opportunity and looking for more. Coming tomorrow onwards, we will be trading both London and NY session, and I'm have scheduled both of this live. Stay tuned there for more update, education as well as analysis. And also I'm sharing here the free Telegram link. Don't miss out to join that free Telegram, where also currently the premium spot is like filled, but whenever it appears, the promotion given on the free Telegram, you guys can get access to education analysis as well as trade ideas, and also all my indicators, strategies, as well as the tools available for the members who are in the academy as well as in this channel. That being said, this is one of my favorite trading tool. It's a trade generator. Okay, so the signal generator directly on TradingView and also on MT4, it generates for me, and also generate for hundreds of members who are using this. And I would like to see there again in another live coming up shortly in London as well as NY session. And I hope that you enjoyed this session, you found value in it. Make sure you don't miss out to for the further update coming, to stay connected. And we'll see you there again in another live. Until that, stay well, stay happy.